Welcome to M2 Hockey and Hockey Share. Today we're going to break down the forward stride for you. We're going to go through some key teaching points, we're going to go through some common mistakes, and we're going to also show you some drills to help work on the forward stride and work on the technique. The first key point to keep in mind when you're doing the forward stride is knee bend is crucial. If you don't have the proper knee bend, you'll never get the complete extension. Big mistake a lot of players make is they're very short. They'll either skate on train tracks or they'll be standing upright and they won't get a full push. Okay, so number one is get nice and low into your hockey stance. Okay, get the knee bend 90 degrees. When you push out, you want to push out at a 45-degree angle. So if I'm in my hockey stance here, okay, I want to reach back at a 45-degree angle, and the toe is the last thing to leave the ice. So the weight's actually going to transfer from the heel of my skate, and it's going to rock to push to the toe as you extend out. Okay, so make sure you get nice and low for that. You get the weight transferring from the heel of your skate to the toe of your skate. Okay, next is getting the upper body to work in unison. I always wear a tracksuit when I coach, so I've got a zipper right down the middle. I use this as a visual guide for my players. When I'm explaining a forward stride to them, what I say is, I don't want my right hand to cross over to my left side of my body across that zipper. So use that zipper as a guideline. This will help direct all your energy in that same direction. Just like the crossover video that we did, we talked about getting energy moving the direction that you want to go. Same thing applies here. Arms go front to back, they drive, they get that momentum going that same direction. You know, a lot of mistakes is to see players throwing side to side. That's wasting energy to the side. Okay? To redirect that energy front to back, it'll also help you control that puck, especially if you're on a fast break, controlling the puck with one stick. Okay? Next, when we stride out, one common mistake that we see all the time is the kid will stride out, but won't bring his feet back together all the way. So when you're focusing, when you're practicing stride, have them exaggerate, have them push all the way out at their 45-degree angle, have them bring their skates back together and reach out and back together. Okay? Don't let them get into bad habits of keeping their skates real wide. The opposite of that is they'll bring their feet together, but they'll have a lot of motion with their heels. So what I mean by that is they'll push out, but when they go to bring their feet all the way back, their feet come up before they come back in. And that's just a very inefficient way of actually striding. We want to be as efficient as possible, so we want to push out, bring it back together, push out, back together. We want to make sure that skate stays very low to the ice. It doesn't drag. Okay, you'll see that sometimes too in beginning skaters. They'll drag their toe back in, but what you want is you want it to push out, stay real close to that ice, bring all the way back in. And again, if you're working on just the technique, you can have them exaggerate it and have them actually touch their feet together. Okay? Here's a couple drills that are just going to help you hopefully explain the stride a little bit and also practice the technique. Depending on the age group you're working with, you can actually start them in a stationary position and have them work on that extension at the 45-degree angle. If you have younger players, younger skaters, 8 and under, 10 and under, let them hold on to the ledge. So get them in a hockey stance right next to the boards, have them hold on to the ledge with one arm, and then reach their leg back. It'll help them stabilize, help them balance. They don't have the leg strength yet to hold themselves up in that deep knee bend position, but at least you'll get them to get the feel for it. Otherwise, older players, bigger, stronger players, start in their hockey stance here. Okay, have them make sure the chest is up, head is up, real good knee bend, feet start together, okay, hands in front of the body, not off to the side or anything. Reach out, hold it, bring it back together, and switch. Okay, look for the players, making sure they're getting complete extension, reaching that leg all the way out and really pushing it. Also make sure their knee bend is pretty close to 90 degrees. It will hurt their legs, it will burn. It'll make the quads burn quite a bit. It's a tough drill, but it's a good drill to just make sure they get the basic concept of technique. I know we've covered it before in one of our previous videos, is sculling. Sculling is a real simple drill, and we're just working on complete extension of that leg, of the pushing leg. So here's what sculling looks like. Get low, get a nice solid hockey stance, exaggerate the knee bend. Our feet are going to start together. I'm going to push one leg out. My feet are never going to leave the ice. I'm going to bring it all the way back in and push the other leg out, bring that all the way back in. Okay. When you're doing the sculling drill, look for complete extension. Let them get all the way out. Make sure their feet return all the way back in. Also make sure they're not bobbing up and down when they push. It's a big mistake. They'll push, but they'll stand up at the same time. So make sure they're staying nice and low when they do this drill. The next progression for the basic stride is just a simple 1 foot push. So you're going to push out with 1 foot, bring that foot back together, push with the same foot. Now we're working on the actual stride technique. We're not keeping our feet on the ice. We're working on rocking from that heel to the toe, getting that complete toe flick out so that you break the ice. You actually get that push coming from the ankle, the little flick of the ankle. Okay? Here's all it looks like. Okay, make sure they bring their feet all the way back together when you're practicing that drill. Next drill I want to show you for forward stride is just a transition from inside edges right into our forward stride, because a forward stride actually it's not in a straight line. There is a slight arc to it, okay, and that's from using your inside edges. So what we want to do is we want to start with our inside edges, we want to transition, we want to shorten them up and turn them into a full stride. So just going to start off with an inside edge and transition in about halfway through. Again, make sure they're staying low, they're not popping up and down. Make sure they're using good technique on the edges, and make sure you listen for that push every time with the toe. As you begin to put all these pieces together, a couple things to keep an eye for is number one, watch the player's head. A lot of times the players will get going fast and they'll start watching the ice in a hurry. And that does a couple things. One, obviously you can't see the play, so it can be flat out dangerous. But it also closes off the chest a little bit too, and it'll end up making it harder for them to breathe. Make sure they keep their head up, chest up. They can see the ice, okay? They can make their plays, they can react accordingly. Next is make sure their arms, again, they're going front to back. Make sure they're not bobbing up and down. Got good solid knee bend the whole time, staying at one level. And then finally, make sure they're getting that push with the toe of their skate. If they're not getting that push, if they're just pushing kind of flat, they're losing a lot of power every single push, and that's going to add up. Okay? Again, keep in mind, their feet have to come all the way back together. The wider base they get, okay, and they're pushing out and together, out together, the shorter they're going to stride. And if you add that up, if you're losing 5, 6, 7 inches every single push because you're not bringing your feet back together over the course of a 200-foot rink, that's going to add up to quite a bit of lost power and lost energy, lost speed. Okay, so this will make them a faster player. And it's no different than with the knee bend. If I stand here with my legs straight up and I reach out as far as I can go, okay, this is as far as I get. But if I drop into my knee bend, now I've just gained myself an extra foot or two on push by doing nothing more than keeping low. So make sure they're using good technique there. If you have any questions or comments, you can email them to me at kevin@hockeyshare.com or leave a comment in the blog section. Thanks for watching. See you next time at HockeyShare and M2 Hockey.